All right. Welcome to Prep Boys Podcast. This is episode 8. I am your humble host, Mr. BS himself. No, this is no BS. I am the CEO here at Prep Boys LLC, usually coming to you from sunny Sunrise, Florida, but I'm in the apartment here today as the holidays rolled around. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but I'm still here. I'm still doing it. I'm excited. As always, we have our resident Amazon expert, majority owner and GM. Warm welcome to OJ the Juice Man. Welcome, bro.
What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays.
Although we couldn't have Jason with us here today, we are thrilled, ecstatic, happy as a fat kid in the candy store to have a special guest with us. He's a seasoned Amazon wholesaler, been in the industry since 2017, out of Brooklyn, New York, member of the buyback staff. Thrilled to have you with us today on the pod, Dre. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you, man. I'm great, man. Happy holidays, everybody. Definitely grateful for you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming through, Dre.
Sure, for sure.
Absolutely. I always feel like I'm introducing, boxers or wrestlers or something when I do the introduction. So
I'm a boxing junkie, so I understand.
Yeah, next time we got to do that. I know Dre, me and Dre are both into boxing. That'd be cool for the next time.
We'll put it together. From this corner.
Yeah. Got to come up with a good nickname, though.
Yeah, for real.
So just a quick, recap. Last pod, that was our little Christmas episode. Me and OJ both came, dressed to impress, and we'll be releasing that episode here today on Thursday. So make sure y'all check that out if you haven't had a chance. Of course, we tape these, a week ahead of time, so we're not live here. We did get into some of our big mistakes and how we turn those into learning experiences, how you can look to turn those into some calculated risk for the future. So, today we're going to be talking a topic that we actually touched on a bit, just OJ and I, but really just navigating the ever evolving Amazon marketplace. And Dre, you being in the game for as long as you have, we thought that was a good avenue to go in with you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
OJ, you want to get us rolling with the first question here?
Yeah. So Dre, I know you and I, we've met several times, worked together here for, I think it's been 3 years now. So, I know like a little bit of your story, how you got into Amazon, but I just wanted to ask, being in the game for 6, almost 7 years now, how has the Amazon landscape changed over the years, in your opinion?
I think how it's changed landscape-wise is technology. I don't know if you remember when you first started a couple of years ago, that Seller Central wasn't as deep as it is now as far as scanning products, looking at getting information, and basically integrating with third-party apps to basically share information. So I'd like to say that is changed in that framework. And also the technology. I have to say Amazon developer has definitely stepped up the game to keep up with the third-party apps, because I guess they realized over time that they had a lot of outside developers creating their own programs. So I guess they took some ideas from those programs and just created their own. So I have to say Seller Central has definitely become user-friendly, more research. They're taking research a lot heavier into the platform instead of just creating sales and showing us when you get a refund. So I'd say that's how it's changed landscape-wise. It's definitely made my business easier.
Yeah, I could agree with that, man. Just kind of thinking back 3 years ago, I think Seller Central, it's definitely evolved big time. And even kind of looking at, let's say, private label, for example, you don't even really need some of those software tools out there because you can do a lot of the research directly in Seller Central. So I agree with you there. So I guess as far as Amazon's policies, I know there was one most recently that just came out that we were kind of talking about. So I'd like to touch on that a bit.
Section 3?
Yeah. So not only Section 3, because I know we spoke on that one, but the inventory levels policy. So I know that's been kind of a big topic. So what kind of shifts do you foresee with that?
You have to be more strategic in what you buy and realize how fast can it move. I used to use this program called Forecastly way back when I first started, and it kind of give me an idea of what product move and how much it moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I think it's going to make a lot of sellers more aware of how deep I'm going to go into and how long can I keep this product before I get hit with charges. Like with me, I'm a grocery seller, and I'm not going to lie to you. I've had products stay in a warehouse between 7 to 8 months, and I know it's going to move through, but now I'm not going to buy so much. But what kind of scares me, what kind of confuses me a little bit, is like if you don't have enough, I don't know, still don't know how the rules work. If you don't have enough, you get charged, or
Yeah, so
Where's that sweet spot?
they're basing it. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, the email came out, I believe it was last week, where they're adding a new metric for sellers. And basically, you get penalized for not having enough inventory to supply to the customers, which essentially you lose money. And then, of course, at the end of the day, Amazon is losing money because you're not able to fulfill those sales. So
Right.
this is basically kind of a kick in the pants to sellers to basically, know your business and know your inventory. And
Right.
if
No,
not, they're gonna penalize us for it.
you're not going to use them as a storage facility anymore,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a
No,
fact.
it started me look at it started making me look at the business a lot differently going
Yeah.
forward.
hmm And it's,
Yeah.
for someone like me who carries, a boatload of ASINs and just kind of jumps from flip to flip and not with
Right.
any replens, it's going to be a little bit tougher. So, for
Right.
folks like that, I challenge you to go find some replens. I know Dre, you're really great at that. But kind of find
Getting harder. It's getting harder,
yeah,
brother. It's
yeah,
getting harder.
yeah. But help, kind of find replens to help kind of balance that and keep your IPI scored and account healthy.
Right.
So Trey, I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but the role of technology that's sort of changed Amazon a bit. But can you give us some specifics, any tools or anything that you're using that that's really changed the game for you?
It's funny. The longer I've been in this game, I realized I don't need every tool. I
Mm.
used to carry about 7 programs. Now I'm down to Inventory Lab, Be Cool, which is my repricer, and then I just picked up Storefront Stalker, which has been a plus for my business. That was to kind of cut back on give me an idea what my competitors are selling, and my VA that I have out in the Philippines. I used to have Helium. I used to have Forecast. I used to have Technical Arbitrage. I was paying out the wazoo for programs that I realized with Seller Central starting to get more advanced, I realized I didn't need certain things, and especially with Keepa and Seller Amp work so well to each other. I didn't need those other programs to keep my business afloat. So I've just definitely trimmed back as far as programming.
That's a good point. And I know typically that, most folks look at that kind of in Q4 or early in Q1 to kind of trim the fat and forecast for the remainder of the year. So yeah, if you're watching this, it's, the first week of January. I'd really challenge you to really determine, hey, what subscriptions are necessary, what tools are necessary. Because like Dre mentioned, oftentimes and more often than not, kind of utilizing a VA to manually source things is going to be a lot more successful than, kind of what the software would find for bundles, variations, and I know Dre would agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we challenge you to kind of look at your business as a whole and determine, hey, do I really need this? Is it really helping my business? And what's the value add when it comes to a tool or software?
Especially now that Amazon's starting to tax people even harder.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
need to really look at your coins. I've taken for granted the past 2 years what I'm spending over the month. But now that Amazon's throwing this new metric out there, I'm like, it's time to reevaluate some things.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
True. And to add to that, as a newer seller, I've been in the
Mhm.
game for less than a year. When you're adding all these different tools, you're not really mastering any of them. So it becomes almost more overwhelming than anything. So you're kind of better off trying to master one or two and really getting, into them rather than, being overwhelmed by 5 or 6.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought I was going to master tactical arbitrage. I was buying this program. They'll learn me this. And I realized, wait a minute, I'm just getting confused to the point I'm overwhelmed, to the point my brain is not retaining information. So yeah, get it.
So Dre, it's kind of to the meat and potatoes. At which point, I know, like I said, you've been with Amazon, selling on Amazon for 6 years, almost 7 years now. When did you decide to incorporate wholesale into your business, and why did you think that was the next step?
You want to hear something crazy? I got introduced into Amazon via wholesale. I
Okay.
didn't know anything about RAOA. I probably learned about RAOA probably 3 years in. I mean, the guy that taught me how to do Amazon was basically, he showed me the wholesale model, and that's the only thing I knew. So I started out with selling pet food, pet products, and then I switched over to grocery, and that was the meat and potatoes. And then Side Hustle Network Chaz, he introduced me to OA because he had a leads group back in the day. I'm like, oh shit, you can sell this stuff? I
Uh-huh.
thought you had to get it straight from the distributor. And yeah, I tried it out. It's great when you can find some great deals, but with me having a full-time job, wholesale was just a better model for me because I was able to put an order in once a month,
Yep.
drop off my labels, drop off the shipping label, and it was gone. So I really didn't have to worry about it. Lucky enough, I had a great distributor that basically had workers who was looking for extra work. So they did all the labeling for me for a flat fee. I don't know what the manager did, how much he paid the workers, but I was grateful that, they did the labeling for me. I had a couple of hiccups as far as the check-in about certain things not being labeled, but that's been my bread and butter as far as the wholesale and distributor and having them do the work. If I got a wholesale deal from California that was just too much for me to do, I would just send it to Amazon and have them label it 50 cents a piece and just took the hit there.
Have you run into, because I know most people, they don't start off with wholesale. You got to have bigger wallets, you got to have a little bit of a bigger network, you got to have some storage. So have you kind of run into anyone who started wholesale instead of OA or RA? So
Yeah.
that's not common.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, believe it or not, I started with $250 wholesale.
Wow. Okay.
I distributed out of California and I just built it up that way.
Take that, gurus. They say 10K.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, that's the common thing now. And the reason why, before I jump into that, I started with 250 and that 250 turned into, I'm gonna keep it straight, 435 turned into like 690. So I did the math and so to the point that I wasn't withdrawing anything. So I just kept flipping it.
Yep.
And then I took my first draw, literally put while in my cash. I went to Ruth Chris.
There we go.
Put the money I made and
Go.
and I got introduced into grocery, and then the grocery really basically exploded for me because that distributor had extra workers that was willing to do the work for me, which basically took my business to another level. And then when I realized I've been going from pet to food, let me start trying other industries. And that's what I've been doing the past 2 years. I've been going to different trade shows, looking at different industries to see what I could get into, what's the entry point, what it's going to cost me, how does the shipping work, how the logistics side. So I've been doing that the past 2 years.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got to give you your kudos here, and I know Jesse sees it as well. Just, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this man has a full-time job, has a successful Amazon business, and he's almost at every trade show you can think of.
Yeah,
And I'm
like,
this is impressive.
Yeah, last year I did 8 trade shows, different industry. So
I think I took 8 vacation days last year.
And lucky, to be honest with you, lucky enough I have a union job. So to the point, I have a ton of sick days. So they're not going to tell me I can't take my day off because it is what it is. If you're from the Northeast or from the Midwest, you know what it is to have a union job. You just do what you please as long as you have the sick days. So I've used a lot of sick days to go to Vegas, Chicago, even Florida. So that's how I'm able to go to these trade shows, and I use a lot of my points to get my plane tickets. So I've been blessed to learn the system.
Nice.
So it sounds like you're so deep into this wholesale thing now, and you have been from the start. At any point, have you thought about going backwards, I guess, to OA or RA, or just no need for that?
I thought about it, but due to the Section 3 issue this past summer, I'm very leery. I have my personal belief as far as the OA situation that you have to make sure your paperwork is in order, because God forbid you get that email and they want proof. I've literally, to the point, I've had a Hot Topic hookup to the point I was getting so much phone calls I wasn't keeping track of my records. And one day, matter of fact, not this year, the year before, I was in Mexico and I got a counterfeit issue.
I remember that.
I'm in Mexico enjoying my vacation. I get it like what? And I'm like, my account shut down. I'm in the business office at a resort, worried about my account. And I like, damn Hot Topic phone call. And I know it was real, but I couldn't provide the receipt. And since then, I said, like, you know what? I'm not doing more RAOA. So let me just deal with the wholesale side to the point I could get the invoice. There's a contact person. So, for me to have a full-time job, I need somebody an ally to help me in the case I get in a situation. Look, I ordered from this person. This is the sales rep. You go Google him. Here's the warehouse over here in the part of New Jersey. It is what it is. Like, I had an issue with the EE product with the toy. Her name is Sarah. She's based out of LA. That's why I got the product from EE Distributions. So that's the reason why I like wholesale. There's more of accountability to the point. I don't mind. I'm gonna say now, I'll snitch. I'm like, yeah, I got it from her. I got it from her. This is what I paid. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time. And that's why that's why I like the wholesale model. Yes, the profit margins are not there like RAOA, but it's the consistency every month that I know every 2 weeks I'm getting this amount. I get this, I get this, I get this. If I don't send a shipment in, one sim, I got so lazy, I forgot this. I didn't send a shipment. I got my payout. I'm like, what's this? Like, oh, I didn't send nothing in. But that's the beautiful thing about wholesale is that it's consistent. And that's what I like saying. Like, I don't really like fourth quarter. So I just like the consistency. I don't like returns. So we usually with wholesale, especially with grocery and pet supplies, you're not getting too many returns back. Yeah. I mean, I did magic. I could have got a K-Swiss account, but what I'm gonna do, like, I don't want to hear no returns and all this stuff. So nah.
And I think it was, what was it, 2020 or 2021 where we walked a trade show? I can't remember, but it was ASD.
Right.
I mean, how important is networking and building relationships when it comes to those types of trade shows and actually connecting with
I I
suppliers?
I think it's definitely worth it, especially in this day and age now where with the Section 3 issue as far as the products, it's always good to have somebody in your corner that even if you may not do business with them, in the case that you get in trouble, you can always reach out to somebody.
Mhm.
I normally don't go to trade shows to get orders. I'm looking to build relationships. I need a sales rep from this company, sales rep from this company, sales rep from this company, to the point that I'm building some type of relationship with that individual. So that's why I like wholesale trade shows or industry trade shows per
Mhm.
se, because I want to build a relationship with someone in the case that I get jammed up, or if there's a possibility I could order with them. And one thing I like about the building relationships, sales reps don't usually stay in the company for so long. They usually go to either a competitor or they
Mhm.
go to a different industry. Hey, can I buy from you?
Right, right.
Like,
Nice. Nice.
so I'm a firm believer in building relationships both professionally and socially. So yeah. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in it. Relationships matter compared to trying to get as much as it counts because if you can't get something from this guy, I bet you he knows somebody in another company or another
Right.
industry that he could put you on to.
No, that's a good point. And so when we were kind of walking the trade shows, I remember you were kind of just showing us and me. I know it was a few of our first time out there. Hey, don't focus just on collecting cards. Really kind of know what products you want to go after, and then
Right,
determine who has those products. It's not really a card collecting and then emailing
right,
game. You
right.
really want to build relationships. So I
That's why I
appreciate.
like that's why when we went, I said, look, don't say you're Amazon seller. Just go there and build a relationship. That'll come later on because the whole idea is that you want to build a relationship to the point where it's just not all about business, but you never know. There could be a helping hand in the long run.
Now, I know you've been to 8 shows just last year. Do you have an experience where you could share with the folks here that you kind of really gained experience or knowledge from one of those events, or maybe a relationship that you developed at a trade show?
I developed a relationship. Okay. So I have I'm gonna give you a distribution company right now, free.
Oh,
Phillips Pets distribution.
Mark it down.
Okay. My sales rep left them to go to McGuire's automobile products.
mhm.
I wanted to go to SEMA, which is basically the automotive trade show, and I had a hard time getting into the trade show. I even asked our partner AJ, like, "Yo, come on, you going? Can I get in?" Oh no, I can't really get in. So I said, "Let me call somebody that I know that's in the automotive field." And come to find out, the guy that used to sell me dog food now sells car wax, and I was able to get into the SEMA show via him.
Wow.
And that's why I'm saying relationships matter
Mm,
compared because you just don't know who's going next.
yeah,
So I think a pet sales rep actually got me a hookup into the biggest automotive show in the country in Las Vegas.
yeah.
So that's why I'm saying relationships matter, regardless if you get an account, because you just never know who can help you out in the long run. And that SEMA show, baby, that's probably the best trade show I ever went to.
I'm looking at, I'm in the vehicles. I'm looking to get out to that one next year for sure.
Yeah. So, and I mean, due to that show, it made me realize there's so many industries within so many components of the auto industry that, okay, this company's selling washers, this company's selling basic wires, and to the point that stuff is being sold on Amazon.
Mm,
You just got to figure out how to present it on Amazon. Now, also realizing automobile products don't move as fast as other categories because you always have the mom and pop and your major
mhm,
chain automotive stores. So one thing I sold years ago that was really popular on the A2A was a steering wheel. And that same company was at SEMA to the point I got a card. I didn't get the account, but I know there's a connection there because I type in an email. It's like, hey, is there a possibility of opening an account? All right, appreciate it. If this ever come an opening or if the numbers are becoming low, you're looking for new accounts, please keep me in mind. You just never know.
That's
So
that's great, man. Yeah,
yeah.
and I think,
uh,
and for the folks listening, I think Dre, I hope you're taking notes because those are, I mean, we're talking about building relationships, we're talking about following up and really
yeah,
knowing where your contacts are going next, because you never know when they could be able to help you. So those
yeah.
are all keys. So I challenge you to create a CRM or even a Google Sheet where you can keep track of things.
LinkedIn.
But your LinkedIn, yep.
Yeah, I mean, anybody get a card from, I looked them up on LinkedIn. And one thing about LinkedIn, everybody seems to change their jobs or change positions. That's how I found out this guy left Phillips and went to McGuire's.
Hmm.
Just due to LinkedIn because he changed his profile. I said, wait a minute. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey, this is so-and-so from New Jersey. I'm trying to get into the SEMA show. It's like, great. I put you down as a buyer. You come visit us and you got your pass for the 4 days.
OJ, I'm sure we see the same thing in regards to our prep center. I know, or I'm assuming you guys met through the buy box, right? You both staff on the
Yeah.
on the buybacks.
Yeah.
I know a lot of our prep center customers have come over from the buy box. So again, that's that tie-in with building relationships and having people. Odie,
Yeah.
would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%. And not only with, kind of having a name and being present in the community, I think goes a long way. Outside of, Amazon, I could relate it to, my real estate business where following up and building relationship is key because I do no marketing at all.
You're right.
Because I'm focused on, the prep boys, I'm focused on my Amazon business and other things. But yet I, kind of word of mouth and referrals, I was still able to close 4 houses this year, including an investment property. And so that kind of just speaks to networking, doing the right thing, and I could really resonate with what Jay was saying.
So Dre, you have any strategies you could sort of recommend for effective networking in the Amazon seller community, whether that's Discord or social medias or wherever it may be?
Discord, I try to be as engaging as possible. Social media is funny. I'm a straight up individual, and everybody's personality is different. With social media, I'm all over the place. I really just don't post Amazon. I'm more of a boxing guy, car guy, networking news guy. So as far as that, with Discord groups, read the groups to see if it somewhat merges to your values and just stay engaged. You're going to find some knuckleheads on Discord groups that you can't avoid. That's up to the administrator of the group, and they handle that. Social media, God bless everybody. There's a lot of. I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself, but just be authentic to yourself because I see a lot of copying. I see a lot of mimicking of others, other behaviors. And here's my thing: if you're promoting yourself a certain way, you got to show more than a white wall. If you're this guru, you got to show me something more. And that's the issue I have. If you're a wholesale guy and you say you sell in this category, I need to see you at the trade show. You know what I'm saying? It's do as you show us that show us you're involved. I'm not saying you have to go to every trade show, but you got to show me something more than ASD. To see I'm a wholesale guru. That's my thing with a lot of the influencers in the Amazon space. Like you talk a good game, but you got to show me more. I'm from New York City where I've seen all the con artists. You can't fool me with no. That's just my thing with the social media as far as Amazon influence. There's some great ones that's true and authentic. I've spent time with them in person. Chris Grant, Chad's out of Texas. I've hung out with a good. I've been to a couple of conferences years ago for Amazon sellers, and I could tell who's legit and who's really, yeah, you ain't really living that life.
Yeah, that's one thing that drove me away from socials back in the day. I think I was on a year and a half or two hiatus just because it kind of just came a game of everyone trying to outdo each other and you don't really know
Yeah.
who's trustworthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like, if you're following the right people,
Yeah.
like Dre said, Chaz, Chris Grant and others out there, you'll be fine. But
Yeah.
back to the trade show, Dre, I know earlier you dropped a bit of a key, which was, never reveal that you're an Amazon seller. Do you have any other do's and don'ts, or how do you kind of go around that Amazon seller stigma?
Present yourself like you know the industry. Study, like if you're gonna go to the fashion like magic, I tend to study up on the issue as product material, where the product getting sourced from. So like when I go to Magic, I know that the whole place is filled up with vendors. I only deal with really accessories and manufacturing side. And the reason why I have so much of a itch to do something on the private label side, so I'm learning more about the manufacturing side of like how the product gets through a broker from China to California. How does the process work? How does the material work? How's the packaging work? Accessories, I've been successful as far as getting sock accounts, hats. I was so close to getting a lids account, but I don't have no storefront. And I used to use this one gimmick that I don't use anymore. This look, I got a physical space, but it's right now it's under contract. Here's the address, and it was legit and everything. But like, yeah, we want to come visit your space. Like, man, I just lost the lease. But I stopped using that. I stopped using that.
I like that.
But yeah, so it's I studied industry like with the pet products. I get Pet Age. I get the email as far as industry, know what's going on. The SEMA, I'm getting any newsletters. So like whatever industry that you're interested in, just ask for electronic newsletters just to stay abreast on the game. And to the point when you go to these trade shows, you know what's going on. Take it from there. So like my news feed for Yahoo's either food, fashion, who's buying who's closing what stores, or blah, 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 who's liquidating and all that stuff. So I tend to stay up on the news as far as the industries that I follow.
That's another tip, and that's another good point. You could set alerts for things like that on your Google. That way you're kind of privy to new news that's coming out that could potentially impact your business. Like, I had alerts for Stanley tumblers that were coming out in limited edition and made some solid money off of those in 2023.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I went to Sweet and Snacks, that the gummy bear kind of, I forgot the name of Ferrera, they outsourced their products to Turkey because they couldn't get the materials here in the state during COVID. And I knew that. And I was like, hey, are you guys outsource your process to Turkey? Like, oh, yeah. So that's how I built up the conversation. So like, hey, what do you guys expect? They said, well, we got to go through the Mediterranean and see, we got to cross the ocean. So we have no idea, but you want to put an order in? We're going to let you know when it hit our distribution. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
So you got to know what's going on in the industry.
Yep, sure.
Trade show topic, but we were talking about potentially having our Prep Boys group going to the Miami Sellers Conference in March.
Okay.
I know we touched on earlier how you're talking about you're not really into the social media game, and I guess we're trying to feel out whether or not this will be something that's truly valuable for us. So any advice there in terms of going to a conference like that, or how we could navigate that space?
I love going to conferences, but what I tend to do, I read the room. If you remember the movie American Gangster, the loudest one in the room, usually the one that's not doing the most. They're looking for the attention. So I tend to read the room to see who people are navigating to, who's to themselves, who's asking certain questions, I learned this a couple of years ago when I went to Magic. What somebody like in a social scene, and because there was that show, I think there's gonna be a lot of learning and informational instruction, but there's also I know from what I've seen, there's gonna be a lot of networking, socializing after.
Yep.
I study people's behavior, what they're drinking. I'm a body language individual, so just whoever people navigate to, they try to get as much information. I look at their behavior to see if they're really about it. Some people are maybe wrong, but sometimes if you're too loud, try not to deal with you.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Dre, as a business owner and entrepreneur, what's some of the best advice you've gotten that's kind of helped you in your profession, whether it be from a mentor or even just someone you've seen on social media that kind of gave you a little bit of a boost?
Don't be so fast to pull a trigger on a buy. If it sounds too good to be true, there's like that little hole in the ship that's about to bring it down. Or with me going back to the trade shows, I don't buy at trade shows because you don't know the whole situation. They're just trying to probably move product that's been there for so long and give you super cheap. You have not studied the history on Amazon to see how well it's sold, but it sounds great on the show floor. Watch your money and learn to say no. Every deal is not meant to be jumped on. And that's where I suffered in the past to the point that it got me in a hole that I thought the deal was good and was so sweet that it was presented that I really do my due diligence as far as researching the product.
Okay. Yeah, and I know I've made that mistake. I know Jesse's made that a couple of times as well. Make sure you're looking at that data. I mean, kind of looking at the research, looking at the brand.
Yeah.
other items offered by that brand.
Keep it. I never used to believe in Keeper until, and this is crazy. I never really believed in Keeper up till about 2000, late 2021. I just refused. I just figured the brand was hot, but not realizing there's algorithms behind. It's not like Saul's one that really showed me the power. Saul and Chad from the Buy Box really showed me the power of that data, how important it is not to take it for granted, and don't try to compete against Amazon because you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
If they've been not listening forever and not had a break or not had a sellout phase, you're gonna stuff them. And I thought I was gonna run toe and toe. Like, okay, you can't be the giant. And I learned my lesson.
Watching this video now could relate to that with some of the Barbies and some other items that they're probably still holding as we speak. So I hear you.
There's too much product to be stuck on one. And that's what I don't like about OA and RA is like there's too many products out there to be stuck on one particular SKU that you can't make money somewhere else. I mean, we know people that makes money on boring products, hardware. I mean, washers. I know somebody who's made over $1 million selling gumball bubble gum. And sometimes boring is the way. Sometimes being boring is sometimes your way to freedom financially.
Like that.
Yeah.
So now,
like I sell boring products these day and age now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So when you do come across like a setback, how do you stay high? How do you stay motivated to like move past that rather than, getting into a funk?
I used to get into a large funk, but I realized I have to learn from this experience and create a plan to get out of this hole, because sometimes we're so stuck on the problem. We're so stuck on the situation that we don't create a solution to the problem. Like, how can I move it? How much of a loss can I willing to take to get up off this product? Now that Amazon changing the game, you're gonna have to move quick because you're gonna be charged. And as soon as it's over, I close the SKU. That's it.
Yeah.
Get it off my inventory. So that's the way. You have to find a solution to your problem, because I think a lot of us sellers, we get stuck on the problem to the point we don't move. Like recently, Section 3. A lot of folks were not finding a solution. They was just mad at the simple fact they got this email. Like, okay, what do you want to do? How do you want to go about doing this? We've seen it in our own Discord group. Like, what's the solution? Like, write an email, use Chat GPT, send 10,000 emails until the right keyword triggers something in the system. Because realistically, I think with Amazon, like when you get in trouble, I think certain keywords are looking at the system look for before a human being look at it. So you just never know. But that's how I did it. Find a solution to your problem quickly. Do not sit on it for so long.
Yeah, that's another good point. And that goes, that can go for liquidating bad inventory, kind of evaluating bad buys and moving on. Yeah. And yes, I think that's another good key for the people. Yeah. So Dre, I know we're conscious of time. What's next for you in 2024? Do you plan on growing? Do you plan on building another business? What are your goals next year?
For me, I always had an aspiration to get into the logistic transportation business. Okay. And I've been studying the trucking industry for a while, realizing it's changing. Two and a half years ago, I was close to buying a box truck and doing Amazon runs from distribution centers because the rates were so high. But then it crashed for the simple fact due to COVID-19 that certain companies were going out of business, and the mega transportation companies were buying up all the loads, were basically driving the rates cheaper. So I'm definitely looking to get into the logistics side, probably in late 24. I already put the process in for my MC number, OT number. And the reason why I'm doing that, and this is just my personal thing, I know some people are diehard Amazon. I don't own Amazon platform, and it can be taken away from you like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I looked at recently with Section 3, people lost their accounts. Some people didn't get their accounts back. And the simple fact that Amazon could just shut you down like that made me realize it's time to find a new avenue, but also keep Amazon aside, because it can be taken away from you in a heartbeat. So you have to follow the terms of service. I think I'll tell this to anybody right now: review the terms of service of Amazon, because they're real. I think going into 2024, I think they're going to be very strict with their rules, because I see how people Section 3 to the point they made people sweat for months that they didn't get a payout.
Yeah, I've seen it, and once you get caught like that, it could be tough, because you still got to pay American Express and Chase. You can't tell them you're undergoing a Section 3.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've had American Express bills waiting to be paid, and I'm waiting for my payout, but it wasn't caught up in the payout because it was being caught up in this investigation. I called American Express, and I'm gonna say this now.
Yeah.
They didn't get paid that month. Okay, they didn't get paid that month, and I said, "Look, I can't pay you this month because my money's held up with Amazon." Okay, sir, we understand. Yeah, because so I'm gonna be honest with you. For all those folks who got all these credit cards, yeah, I don't pay no interest. Yeah, I pay interest and late fees, and I take those interest and late fees and write off my taxes. Okay, for all those gurus like, oh, I don't pay no interest, I don't pay this. I do. Okay, because every Amazon seller swear does these interviews. I don't pay no interest. I don't pay no late fees. I do. Okay.
So I know you mentioned getting into logistics. Do you foresee kind of keeping Amazon as a side business for the foreseeable future, as long as you're able to continue selling?
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to realize I'm going to need now is a partner that understands Amazon, but that want to do it. I've had partners in the past where they say, "Yeah, I want to do it and make money," but they don't want to do it. They just wanted to do it of course, for money. But if your heart's not into it, it's the worst thing. So I'm trying to find somebody that's willing to do it. And that's why I love Wholesale, because all I have to do is create an order with this distribution company. I have 3 food distribution companies that I deal with here in Jersey. One is Goya. There you go. And so I just basically put the order in on the 5th. It has to be picked up between the 12th and the 16th. And what I do is I basically go to the distribution center, and that's my order. I pick it up. I get my pink slip, get the other slip. I give it to the manager, and I say, "This is extra work. Who wants to do the extra work?" I take it from there. As long as that system stays in play, I'm fine.
Nice.
So that's the relationship I hope to continue going forward. I'm going to 2 trade shows in January, one for the Halloween trade show and one for the adult novelty trade show. And I just want to see one of the companies said they'll do the prepping for you and ship it to the center, but we'll see how the numbers work. So as long as my core business which is grocery, stays intact, where I have the distribution work is working for me on the side, and I pay that fee to the sales rep, whatever they get. I don't know. But as long as I stay in play, yes. Do I see myself at Amazon 10 years from now? I don't know, because I think it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher as time go by, to the point. I think these limits with the forecast of not having enough products or having too much. I think that's what's going to kill a lot of people's profits. That it's going to make them wonder, to the point that this is where the biggest sellers are going to thrive and come in.
Yeah.
And really do well. I just tell it to any new seller: 1, join a Discord group, or 2, find a mentor that's really doing it. Really doing it. Like, I was lucky enough, how I got introduced to Amazon was basically by one guy in Philadelphia that I met at the airport, because I oversaw his Seller Central account, and that's how I got introduced to it.
Wow.
That's sales. So at the end of the day, a Discord group, and find a good mentor. There's people offering courses. That's my thing. I don't know, man. It's just too much going on right now in this Amazon space, man.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, and I think in our last episode, which is just being released, we spoke about mentorship and sponsorships and the importance of that. So that kind of ties right in. But yeah, Jess, if you want to kind of bring us home here, I know we're kind of at top of time here.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask you some prep center questions, but it sounds like you got a good deal set up with your distribution company.
Well, yeah, the only reason why I have a good deal set up is that I'm blessed to have workers that want to work extra. If it wasn't there, they'd be going to a prep center. Yeah. Sure. That's the beautiful thing about dealing with Wholesale. They tend to have workers that want to do extra work. So that's just the only reason why I have it. I would definitely recommend. I used a prep center years ago for OA, and baby, it was a learning experience, because I had no idea that the partners were at risk with each other, to the point that work wasn't getting done.
Oh, wow.
It's to the point when I tell it to anybody, just make sure that the organization is together and tiptoed tight situation. Because when you sign the products in the prep centers, you don't know what's going on in the organization as a whole.
True.
So it's just, I always, like, when I dealt with them, I always call to check and see how things are going. Like, I bought lunch for them. Like, hey, man, I want to send up some lunch money for you guys. And buy it. They'll take a picture like, "Yo, Dre, thanks for the pizza." I said, "Why it always got to be pizza? I mean, why you can't do Popeyes or something like tips?" But I always say, if you're going to do business with the prep center, make sure that the organization is happy, and then you're able to get on the phone with somebody to see what's going on and make sure everything's good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things we always say. our doors are wide open. You could always come see us, get us on the phone. Communication is there, so that's certainly something we preach.
Yeah, for sure. It's just camaraderie within the staff, because we all know that workers are hard to come by, and some people don't want to say, "Hey, I'm short 2 workers." Like, we all know of a particular person that have a prep center. Sometimes they got to go to another state just to help them catch up with the influx of work because somebody's sick or somebody's quit. So always make sure that everything is good with the organization that you're doing with business with as far as prepping. Go live. Go live. I always say go live on Instagram. Go live.
Yeah.
Just show that we're alive, we're good, we're going, things are going great. Sometimes that going Instagram live is just doing a short video like end of the month. This is what we did, how many units we pushed, to show people like, look, we're legit, we good, we happy. We want a big happy crew.
Like that.
Yeah, very true. All right, Jay, it's been fantastic having you. We really appreciate, all the knowledge and the tips. Give you a chance to shamelessly plug if you got socials or Discord name or anything out there.
Instagram is justdre718, and my Twitter is Andre Decoteau, my regular name, AndreDecoteau. And I post everything. I don't post just Amazon. It's either boxing, sports, politics, because I can't be stuck on Amazon. I gotta see what else is going on in the world.
All right. All right. We got our promotion going on now that we are 100% tax-free. We got some tax-free benefits for the people. That's a year-round discount code for you, especially if you're in a high tax state.
Do they have to fill out paperwork, or is it electronic? How does that work for you guys?
So you can do it electronically.
Okay. Oh yeah. Folks, if y'all want to save money on taxes, you jump on that. You jump on that. Don't be lazy. Fill out the paperwork.
I think we're running out of time here at the end of the day. We're probably going to go into a wait list upcoming in January. So
awesome. That's good. That's good. When you got that wait list, it's a beautiful thing. Things are going well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. You can follow us on YouTube at Prep Boyz LLC, where we post every full-length episode of the Prep Boyz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also find podcast snippets and all of our other content on Instagram, TikTok, and X at PrepBoys_prep. We're also on Discord at Prep Boys FL, as in Florida. If you reach out to us directly on socials, we'll certainly respond in a timely fashion. Again, I am Mr. BS. You can find me on Instagram at bright_shadow and X at Jesse Prep Boys. OJ, where can the people find you?
Yeah, mainly I'm in the buy box at Road to Riches, RD2 Riches, and then X, which is OJ Prep Boys with the Z. Those are typically where I'm best reached.
All right, thanks for joining us. Look forward to doing it again. Need a prep center? It's theprepboys.com. Leave the prep to the boys. Thanks once again, Jay.
No problem, man.
Appreciate it.
Well, guys.
All right, see you.